The ballroom glittered under a cascade of fairy lights, but all I could see was the number on my place card, table 10. The notorious singles table. The one my sister, Serena, had specially curated for me, Iris, the perpetual bachelorette. Her way of reminding everyone that at 30, I was still spectacularly unattached. Serena and I had always had a rivalry, but her engagement to Mark, a high-flying architect, had escalated it into an all-out war. Still swiping, Iris, she'd coo during family dinners, her eyes gleaming with feigned pity. Maybe you're just too picky. TikTok, you know. Our mother, Eleanor, would offer a weak smile, while Dad, Robert, would clear his throat, but Serena never let up. My single status was her crown jewel, proving her own marital triumph. The morning of the wedding, Serena called, her voice dripping like poisoned honey. "Sweetie, I know today might be tough for you, seeing everyone so happy. Just try not to scare off any eligible bachelors with your resting single face, okay?" I should have known then that I was walking into a trap. I arrived at the Grandeur estate, feeling sharp in a sapphire gown, only to be intercepted by Serena's chief bridesmaid, Chloe, clipboard in hand and a smirk playing on her lips. "Iris, darling, let me guide you to your special table." Table 10 was practically in the coat check closet, surrounded by Serena's awkward single colleagues and our ancient great-aunt Mildred, who spent the evening asking if I'd considered a cat for companionship. But the real spectacle began during the introductions. Serena, radiant in white, dragged me toward Mark's distinguished relatives. "And this is my sister, Iris," she announced, clinging to Mark's arm like a trophy. Our little free spirit, still prioritizing her career over, well, connection. The polite smiles felt like daggers. "Oh, bless her heart," purred Mark's Aunt Carol, patting my arm. "There's hope for everyone." My nephew, Julian, found his soulmate at a meditation retreat. Serena giggled, a sharp, triumphant sound. "Iris is just so independent, aren't you, sis?" Independent sounded like a contagious disease when she said it. The rest of the hour was a blur of unsolicited advice. Mark's business partner suggested I lower my standards. A family friend recounted the tale of his great-aunt, who married at 60 to a man with 7 children. Even the wedding photographer seemed to get the memo, repeatedly asking if I had a +1, his confusion palpable when I said no. The bouquet toss was the final blow. "All you single ladies," the DJ boomed. I tried to vanish behind a velvet curtain, but Chloe, a human radar, yanked me into the eager circle of Serena's younger cousins, all dewy-eyed and radiating youthful optimism. Serena, meeting my gaze, deliberately flung the bouquet in the opposite direction. A 22-year-old intern shrieked with delight. Serena hugged her, announcing, "Looks like Iris will have to wait a little longer." The laughter that followed was a physical assault. I retreated, tears of fury burning my eyes. This was supposed to be a celebration, not my public execution. I was contemplating a swift, unnoticed exit, when a low voice murmured behind me, "Act like you're with me." I spun around to find a man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. Tall, probably 6 feet 3 inches, with intense dark eyes and an aura that commanded attention. He exuded an effortless charm. "Excuse me," I whispered, my heart hammering. "Your sister just told my distant cousin that you're practically a lost cause," he said, sliding into the chair beside me with the grace of a panther. I'm assuming you didn't ask her to broadcast your dating life to strangers. He was right. Across the room, Serena was animatedly gesturing in my direction. You don't mind, do you? He asked, though his eyes dared me to say no. I shook my head, dumbfounded. For the first time all night, I felt seen. I'm Leo, he said, extending a hand that was both firm and gentle. Mark's cousin from out of town. And you, I gather, are Iris, the sister in need of a knight in shining armor. A shaky laugh escaped me. That's me. The family cautionary tale. Not anymore, he grinned, a flash of pure mischief in his eyes. Leo casually draped an arm over the back of my chair, leaning in as if we were sharing secrets. Almost immediately, heads began to turn. Serena, mid-conversation with the caterer, froze, her smile dissolving. She made a beeline for our table, her silk train flowing behind her like a vengeful cloud. Iris, she trilled, her voice a little too high-pitched. I didn't realize you knew Leo. Oh, we go way back, Leo said smoothly, his fingers brushing mine on the table. Just reconnected, you know how it is. Serena's eyes narrowed, her perfect facade cracking. Really? Iris never mentioned you. I prefer to keep my private life private, I said, a newfound confidence surging through me. You know how I am about work-life balance. The irony was delicious. How wonderful, Serena said, though her tone suggested the opposite. How long have you two been reconnecting? Long enough, Leo replied, his smile enigmatic. As Serena walked away, her shoulders stiff with frustration, Leo leaned in. She looks like she just swallowed a lemon, he whispered. She's not used to not knowing everything about my life, I confessed. Good, he said. Let's keep her guessing. For the next hour, Leo played his part flawlessly. He brought me champagne, laughed at my dry wit, and touched my hand just enough to make our connection utterly convincing. But beyond the performance, he actually listened. He asked about my career in design, my passion for vintage fashion, my dreams of a Tuscan vacation. You're not what I expected, he admitted during a quiet moment. What did you expect? I challenged. Based on your sister's intel. Someone perpetually miserable and desperate, he said, surprisingly frank. Instead, I find myself captivated by someone intelligent, witty, and honestly. I can't fathom why you're single. Because I have standards, I declared, a genuine smile forming. He laughed, a rich, warm sound that melted away a lifetime of insecurities. Good for you. By now, Serena was openly glaring. I saw her hissing into Chloe's ear, both of them darting curious glances our way. Mark's relatives, who had pitied me earlier, now regarded Leo with obvious respect, clearly recognizing his refined demeanor, and wondering how I'd managed such a catch. The revenge was already sweeter than any dessert. But Leo wasn't finished. When the band launched into a slow tune, he stood, extending his hand. Dance with me. It wasn't a request. On the dance floor, his hand firm on my waist, mine on his shoulder, I felt the gaze of every guest who had offered their unsolicited advice. But instead of feeling exposed, I felt shielded. Leo moved with an innate rhythm, and being in his arms felt surprisingly natural. Your sister is watching, Leo murmured. I know, I replied. She looks like she's about to spontaneously combust. Mission almost accomplished, he chuckled. That's when Serena made her move. "Mind if we cut in?" she purred, appearing with Mark in tow. Her wedding smile was stretched taut, a thin veil over her fury. "Actually, yes," Leo said politely but firmly. "We're rather enjoying our moment." Serena's face cycled through several expressions, before landing on a sickly sweet facade. "Of course. I just wanted to say how thrilled I am Iris finally found someone. We were all so worried about her." "Were you?" Leo asked, his voice calm, his eyes like steel. "Because from what I've observed tonight, it seems you've been more interested in broadcasting her single status than celebrating her." His directness stole Serena's breath. Mark shifted uncomfortably, sensing the impending explosion. We just want what's best for Iris," Serena stammered, her composure shattering. "Then perhaps treat her with the respect she deserves," Leo countered, "instead of using her personal life as entertainment for your wedding guests." I had never seen Serena so utterly dismantled. Her perfect wedding glow vanished, leaving her looking small and defeated. "I don't know what Iris told you, but—" "She didn't have to tell me anything," Leo interrupted. "I have eyes. I've witnessed how you've treated her all evening." Mark finally stepped in, clearly mortified. "Perhaps we should let them get back to dancing." As they retreated, Serena's perfect evening lay in ruins. I saw her frantically whispering to Chloe, no doubt trying to unravel Leo's identity and my supposed deceit. That felt incredibly satisfying, I admitted, a genuine smile spreading across my face. "We're not done yet," Leo grinned, and my heart did a little flutter. For the rest of the night, Leo was my constant companion. When dinner was served, he charmingly insisted we be moved to a more central table, citing a peculiar dietary restriction that required proximity to the kitchen. The staff, recognizing Mark's influential family, immediately complied. Our new table was front and center, where everyone could witness our easy laughter and intimate conversation. Serena's friends, who had ignored me earlier, now flocked to our table, eager to meet Leo. Mark's relatives, who had initially dismissed me, now showered me with newfound respect and curiosity. Aunt Carol, who had suggested meditation retreats, now wanted to know all about Leo's impressive background as a successful tech innovator with a prestigious MBA. "Iris, you dark horse," she exclaimed with genuine admiration. "You never mentioned you were seeing someone so accomplished." But the grand finale arrived, during the garter toss. As Mark prepared to hurl the garter into the crowd of single men, Leo stepped forward, his confidence radiating. "Wait!" Serena shrieked, her voice laced with desperation. "Leo, you're not single." Leo looked at me, then back at Serena, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Actually, I am. Iris and I are taking things slow, getting reacquainted." The garter landed squarely in his hands. Whether by luck or Mark's deliberate aim, I'll never know. But the symbolism was lost on no one, especially Serena. Traditionally, Leo was meant to place the garter on the leg of whoever caught the bouquet, but that young cousin had long since departed. "Looks like we need a volunteer," the DJ announced. Leo's eyes met mine, a silent question passing between us. I nodded. A ripple of excitement went through the crowd as I sat in the designated chair. Leo knelt before me, his touch surprisingly tender, as he slid the garter onto my leg. The moment was charged with an electric possibility, and I found myself wondering if the chemistry between us was entirely an act. Serena's face was a mask of barely contained fury, her pathetic, single sister now the undisputed center of positive attention at her own wedding. As the evening drew to a close, Leo walked me to my car. The parking lot was a quiet sanctuary, far from the prying eyes of guests and family. "Thank you," I said, finally alone with him. "I know tonight was just a charade, but you saved me from the most humiliating night of my life." "What makes you think it was just a charade?" he asked, his expression unexpectedly serious. My breath hitched. Because you don't even know me." "I know enough," he said, stepping closer. "I know you're kind, even when people don't deserve it. I know you're strong enough to endure humiliation without breaking. I know you're beautiful, inside and out. And I know your sister is an absolute fool for not seeing how lucky she is to have you in her life." Tears pricked my eyes, but this time, they were tears of something akin to hope. "Iris, I know this started as a rescue mission," he continued, his voice soft, but somewhere between our first dance and now, it stopped being pretend for me. He handed me a business card, his personal number scrawled on the back in elegant script. "If you want to see me again, not for revenge, not to prove a point, but just because you want to, call me." I took the card, my hands trembling. "What if I want to call you tonight?" He smiled, that same confident, magnetic smile that had first drawn me in. "Then I'll answer." 3 months later, Leo and I were officially dating. 6 months after that, we moved in together. And exactly 1 year after Serena's disastrous wedding, he proposed to me at the very hotel where we'd first met. Serena's reaction to our engagement was everything I could have dreamed of. The sister who had relentlessly mocked my single status was now forced to watch me plan a wedding with a man who not only adored me, but came from an even more affluent and influential family than Mark's. But the true victory wasn't in proving Serena wrong. It was in realizing I no longer needed her validation. Leo's unwavering respect and genuine affection had shown me my true worth, and I vowed never to settle for less again. Our wedding was smaller, more intimate than Serena's, yet infinitely more joyful. We celebrated with those who genuinely wished us happiness, free from the shadow of judgment. Serena, surprisingly, insisted on being my maid of honor. In her speech, she gushed about how happy she was to see me find love, how perfect Leo was for me, and how she'd always known I'd find someone special. The revisionist history was breathtaking, but I simply smiled. I had something far more valuable than her approval. I had a partner who had seen my true worth from the very beginning. Looking back, Serena's wedding was a turning point. Her cruelty, though painful, ultimately revealed my own resilience and led me to Leo. Without that public humiliation, I might never have been open enough to accept help from a stranger. Sometimes, the people who hurt us the most inadvertently set us on a path to profound change. Serena had intended to make me feel small and unlovable. Instead, she unknowingly delivered me directly to the love of my life. The irony, I decided, was perfectly exquisite. If this story reminds you that the best revenge is living your best life, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of unexpected twists and triumphant love. Have you ever had someone's malice spectacularly backfire? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes, the universe has a mischievous sense of justice, and sometimes, that humor leads to a happily ever after.